Who was Han Solo's first wife? Princess Leia Organa was not Han Solo's first wife? No, that title belongs to another. Who is she? How did she manage to lock down Han Solo, and why didn't they last? Well, that's what we'll try to find out. Let's start at the beginning. A few weeks after the destruction of the first Death Star, Han Solo and Princess Leia were on the run, fleeing a Star Destroyer and its TIE patrol as it chased them across the sector. The pair chose a nearby planet covered in electrical storms to lie low, hoping that the Imperial troops would be too afraid to follow them into the lightning-filled world. Han and Leia thought they would be safe, but there was someone else on their tail. Sana Solo appeared amidst a cloud of smoke, left in the wake of her starfighter as it slowly cushioned its landing on the planet's surface. Self-assured, cocky, and carrying a strikingly similar attitude to that of Han, she strode down the exit ramp, blaster in hand, hair flowing in the wind. "The name is Sana Solo. I'm his wife," she states simply. However, her appearance seemed to be a huge shock to Han, hinting to a bigger story. Yet despite Han's protests and disbelief, it was clear Sana knew him like the back of her hand. It's almost as if she predicted every witty remark about to leave his mouth and every move he's about to make. The story goes far back, apparently further than Han's memory. Despite his many denials, on the planet Stennis, Han married Sana a few years prior. Yet, just like many promises in Han's life, the wedding was false. In fact, the supposed union was a pretend marriage simply to serve as a distraction in a scheme hatched by the two. The scheme, nothing too dissimilar to the smuggler's current escapades, consisted of breaking into a huge gambling den of crime lords who owed money to Han and his allies. While the wedding was just a cover to allow the unrelated heist to proceed under the radar, it had to be convincing enough to get past any suspicion. Though they were not officially married, Han's denial turned guilt, and Sana's insistence hinted to a deeper connection between the two. However, the deeper connection was not love. In fact, it was the often prickly subject of money. Sana's insistence to find Han was rooted in the fact that he actually made off with her cut of the profits, earned by the heist that the fake marriage was instrumental in. And she had been hunting him down ever since to reclaim her share, or so she said. Her name was in fact Sana Staros, and not Han's legally bound wife at all, yet simply another smuggler making her way through the galaxy, dodging the odd bullet and making the odd small fortune where she could. It could be considered fate then, that Sana tracked Han down on the Monsuna Nebula, a secret hideaway for the smuggler, with only a select few having knowledge of the location, complete with Corellian wine from Han's home planet. While a great place for evading the Imperial fleet, the electrical storm surrounding the Monsuna Nebula also meant it was a terrible place to be stranded, especially with a burned bridge like Sana. However, Han was not alone when Sana discovered him. Accompanied by Princess Leia, the lovers' confrontation between the two smugglers was to become a lot more complicated. Though money seemed to be the main crux of Han and Sana's connection, her displays of affection through actions and words in front of Leia still hinted that there may have been a passionate connection after all. Sana worked consistently to make the princess jealous, which worked to little effect. Just as Sana's actions hinted at something untold, so did Han's words. As Han and Sana continued to bicker, with Sana insisting that she was Han's wife, and Han insisting that Sana was just a crazy old loose end, Leia removed herself from the situation in disbelief, and, to a degree, disinterest. "You know what? This is none of my business. I'm just gonna go," Leia said as she walked away. At this point, still not too trusting of Han, Leia decided to believe Sana, and started referring to Han as Sana's husband. Han continued to deny that he and Sana were ever married, but the smuggler slowly realized he was more or less talking to himself. "None of that is true," Han said as Sana repeated her claim. "She is not my wife," he shouted again. While Han's protests that Sana wasn't his wife were technically true, he realized what effect that news would have on Leia. Although she rebuffed his light advances, she was still the sole person with him on this quest through these outer reaches of space, meaning a level of trust had to be implied. Leia leaving before Han could finish his side of the story said a lot. She was hurt. Not only had she been lied to, but there was clear chemistry building between the two, now thrust into doubt. The differences between Sana and Leia were abundantly clear. Perhaps it was a social class difference, with one being a bounty hunter and one being a princess. But Sana's disregard for Han's companion led to anger between the two women, with the now foolish-looking Han right between them. This got Han to become self-deprecating, try his hand at diplomacy and negotiate, displaying a softer side to the princess than his often ostentatious bragging. Yet those who knew this smuggler knew this was the typical facade employed when he desperately needed a way out of a sticky situation. Sana, honey, let's talk. We really need to talk. Put the gun down and we'll talk, okay? Han pleaded. Sana, though trying to get her money back under the guise of rekindling a lost love, could see through the layer Han was presenting. Despite not romantically involved, her seemingly deep knowledge of him was too obvious to dismiss. So no, Sana was not Han's wife, not legally at least. Were they once married? Yes. Was it official? No. Did Sana need to find Han? Yes. To rekindle a relationship they once had? Maybe. Not a romantic one at least. Whatever the case may have been, Sana's appearance interrupted the bond forming between Leia and Han. Leia rethought yet again whether or not she could trust a lying smuggler like Solo. And Han was revisited again by phantoms from his past life. And perhaps, he too worried if he could ever escape them.